of the Always Believe House. Oh, today we're going to have a fun time because we're going to use the quadratic formula. Let's get rocking and rolling, and a magical whiteboard appears, and you say, what is a quadratic formula? Well, we're about to learn to find out. The last week, we spent time factoring quadratics to find the zeros of an equation. If you can factor the quadratic, that's the fastest way to get the zeros, okay? What if you can't factor it? You could use what's called the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula works every single time. So this is real time saver. It's kind of tedious to put in the calculator, but in Algebra 2, you will learn how the quadratic formula happens, okay? So let's look at what the quadratic formula is, and the quadratic formula is right here, okay? When we put it in, we're going to use parentheses for the variables. You'll see that in a minute. Okay. Also remember that the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So the first thing you want to do is put it in that standard form, identify what a, b, and c is, and just plug it in the calculator. A lot of calculator today, okay? So let's get going. On this problem right here, I'm going to put below it a equals 1, b equals -6, and c equals 4. Now then, we're going to write down the quadratic formula, but we're going to use parentheses instead of the letters. Okay? So always remember, the quadratic formula is up here on the paper. When we turn the paper over, we'll flip it again. But you're going to draw a fraction bar, and then you're going to put negative for the b, put a parentheses, plus, and we're only going to do the plus, and I'll show you what to do next, square root, or let's just put plus and minus here, plus minus the square root, and then b squared minus 4ac. See how I'm putting parentheses in here? You got to use the parentheses, or if you put a negative in there, it could mess it all up, okay? And then on the bottom, 2a. Also notice that negative b over 2a, that's the formula for the axis of symmetry, which gives you the vertex. Okay, so the negative b over 2a moves that parabola, and then that b squared minus 4ac locates the 2 points, okay, where the problem crosses the x-axis, okay? Now that we have this, so let's put our numbers in. So b is equal to -6. The b goes here and here. A is equal to 1. The a goes here. C, and on the bottom, and c is equal to 4. So notice the b's used twice, the a's used twice, but the c's only used once. Now then, we're going to type this as is into the calculator, but we're going to use plus first and then change it to minus. Okay, so I'm going to go to my calculator, just go to calculate, then I'm going to hit Control Divide to get a fraction. Control Divide. I'm only going to do this twice because this is pretty simple to do. Then you're going to type it as is, as we wrote down right here, okay? So we're going to put negative. Hold on. Yeah, we're going to put a negative, and then parentheses. Jiminy crickets. Negative, and then put a parentheses, and then it's -6. -6. Close the parentheses, and then hit the plus sign. Now then, we're going to hit Control X squared, which gives me my square root. Now then, I need to start another parentheses. There's a lot of parentheses in this. -6, close the parentheses, squared, and then we're going to use minus 4, and then another parentheses. A was 1, right? Yeah, A was 1 and C was 4. Okay, so parentheses, 1, close parentheses, and then, and I got another parentheses in here. Jiminy crickets. Let's do it again. Control Divide, Jiminy crickets. And then negative parentheses 6. Is that right? Yes, 6. Negative parentheses, -6. Close the parentheses, plus Control X squared. And then it's b squared, so parentheses, -6. Close the parentheses, squared. minus 4, and then a parentheses. The A is 1, close the parentheses, another parentheses. The C is 6, I think. The C is 4. So put a 4, and then close the parentheses. Now then I have what's in that top. Oh, that's what the top is, right? Hit the down button, and then the A was, then type in 2, parentheses, 1. Close parentheses. So I have just duplicated what I have written down here, don't I? Negative parentheses, negative 6 plus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a, right? I have that in the calculator. Now then hit enter. And I get 5.23. If I were to trace that parabola, remember when we graph trace, that would be the decimal where the parabola crosses the x-axis. Okay? And normally we write that as money. So that would be like 5.24 or $5.24. Round it to the hundredth. So 5.24 would be that 0, okay? Now then, instead of typing this all down, because now we got to do minus, because you get 2 zeros, don't you? Hit the up button twice. So if I hit the up button once, I go to the 5.23. If I hit it again, I go to this, and then hit enter. Now then, I'm going to hit the back button, and that makes me go in my problem, and I'm going to change the plus to a minus. So I'm going to keep going to where that plus is, backspace, and then put minus. Now then I have this. I have the same problem, but I changed the plus to minus, hit enter, and this is my other decimal. So the two answers are 5.24, put x equals 5.24, and 0.76. Just round them to the hundredth. 0.76. This is where the parabola would cross the x-axis, okay? Those are the zeros of the x-axis. Piece of cake. It's very tedious to type this into the calculator. Now then, let's go to number 2, okay? On number 2, we have to put this in the right order. This is the last one I'm going to do with you. So write down x squared minus 4x minus 11 equals 0. So the first thing you want to do is get it ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now then, write down what a is equal to. A is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 4, and c is equal to negative 11. Now then, we're going to write down what we're going to punch in the calculator. So the formula is negative b plus or minus the square root, and that square root's pretty big, b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Notice that the negative 4 is used twice, the 1's used twice, and the negative 11's used once. Okay, this isn't that difficult. You just got to plug them in. Now then, we're going to type this as is into the calculator with the parentheses. If you use the parentheses, it's going to work. It's kind of tedious, but it'll work. So let's go to the calculator. Okay, hit Control Divide to get the fraction bar, and then negative parentheses, and it's negative 4, right? Negative 4. Okay, close the parentheses, and we're going to do plus first, plus Control X squared. Now then, b squared is negative 4, so parentheses, negative 4, close parentheses squared, minus 4, then start a parentheses, the a is 1, close the parentheses, and my c is negative 4. I think that's it. Let me look. Negative 11. So I need to go back and type negative 11. Jiminy crickets. Unbelievable. Negative. I'm sorry. Hit Control Divide. Very tedious. This is what's going to happen to you, so don't give up. Control Divide. Let me hit Control first. Control Divide. And I got my Control Divide. Negative, parentheses, and it's negative 4, right? Negative 4, 1, and negative 11. This is tedious because on your paper you don't have to go back and forth. So 4, 1, and 11. So negative 4, close the parentheses squared, minus, and then hit Control X squared, parentheses, negative 4, close parentheses, and I hit, Jiminy Crickets. Control divide, parentheses, or negative, parentheses, negative, negative parentheses, negative 4, close parentheses, plus Control X squared, parentheses, negative 4, close parentheses squared, minus 4, parentheses, A is 1, close parentheses, C is negative 11, and then hit the down button, and then 2, not 1, 2 parentheses 1. Okay, so 4, 1, negative 11, let me make sure that's right. That is correct. Okay, so I've typed it in. I got brackets in there. That's not going to mess it up. Hit enter, and I get 5.87. That's going to be one of the intercepts, okay? If I were to graph that and trace, that would be one of them. Now then, let's hit the up button twice. Okay, hit enter, and now then I'm going to go and change that plus to a minus. I think I could just go to right here. And then hit delete, and then hit minus. Hold on. Hit the up button twice. Hit enter. Hit the back button. This is kind of tedious. On yours, you could just probably use a cursor. And then hit the delete, and then make that minus. Now then hit enter. And negative 1.87. So 5.87 and negative 1.87. So 5.87 and negative 1.87, x equals. Those would be my answers, okay? Remember, this is kind of tedious. I'm going to do one more because I'm kind of messing up. On your calculator, it won't be that bad. I'm having to go back and forth. You can just see the paper and put it in, okay? So this is kind of tedious for me. Let's go and do one that you got to change. Where's another one you got to change? Let's go to number 9. Okay, so at number 9, we got to move all this over, okay? So we're going to move the x squared across and the 7 across. When you do that, the signs will flip. So if I were to put plus x squared and plus x squared, I would have x squared, the 2x drops, and then the 7 is going to get signs changed, right? So I would get this. So make sure you put it in ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Then underneath, a is equal to 1, b is equal to a positive 2, and c is equal to a negative 7. This is what's going to go in the quadratic formula. Now then, the quadratic formula, draw your fraction bar. It's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. This will be a little bit easier because the b's not negative. I don't have to put as many negatives. Now then, remember, we're going to push this in with a plus, hit the up button, hit enter, and change the plus to a minus. Okay, so let's go to the calculator. I'm going to hit Control Divide, and then negative parentheses, and then the b was 2. So 2, close the parentheses, plus Control X squared, and then parentheses, 2 squared, close the parentheses squared, minus 4 parentheses, and then a is 1, close parentheses, and c was negative 7, right? Was just, yeah, this should be a negative 7 in here. So c is a negative 7. So parentheses, negative 7, close the parentheses. So I have the top typed in, hit the down button, and then it's 2 parentheses 1. So I have it all typed in, don't I? Hit enter, and you get 1.82, okay? So I'm going to go back here and put x equals 1.82, and I'm going to go back to the calculator, hit the up, enter. So if you hit up, it goes to the answer. If you hit up again, it goes to that problem. Hit enter, and then I think on yours you could use a cursor to go to it. I have to hit the back button and go to that plus sign, don't I? And I'm going to change the plus to a minus. So delete and minus. I got the plus to a minus, hit enter, and then negative 3.82 is my other zero. Negative 3.82. So when you write these answers, use the 100th place, right? This is kind of tedious. I give you several problems. You'll get the hang of it with the calculator, okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy using the calculator and using the quadratic formula. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Remember, you are amazing, you are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.